Hello and welcome to our live podcast episode. Today is a solo episode with me. I'm your host, Shannon Crow. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a yoga teacher, a mom of three, and a pelvic health professional, as well as the founder of Pelvic Health Professionals, the membership site. And we were getting a lot of questions in our Facebook group about membership sites. And so I just thought, let's dive in and do a full Q&A. So as we go here, pop your questions in the comments, whether you're here live or for the replay. Also, let me know, how's my sound today? Is it sounding okay? And I'd love to hear where you're tuning in from. Right now, it's super warm and sunny, very warm here in Ontario where I am. And everything in the garden is growing. So I'd love to hear in the comments where you're watching from and what your questions are about membership sites. Who here has a membership site? Who here has thought about one? Who here is like, maybe I need to hear more. And before we dive right into the questions and answers, I want to share a shout out of thanks to Offering Tree. Offering Tree is makes this live possible, first of all, and also is an amazing company that's really supporting yoga teachers, especially as they're getting ready and thinking about, okay, I've created all of these videos, and now how can I package them together? So I would highly recommend checking out Offering Tree if you haven't already. They are a company that also is great when you're wanting to integrate with Zoom and do your bookings and get people to pay online. If you have questions about Offering Tree, let me know. And let's see who's commenting. Houston, Texas, on a bright and sunny day. I'm wondering, what is the temperature in Texas right now? I'm not very good at my Celsius to Fahrenheit, but I'll try. Someone else is tuning in here from Western Australia. Tucked up in bed, it's freezing tonight. Oh my gosh, Sarah, that sounds very different from what it is here. So I'll try and send some warmth your way. Thank you for being here. What time is it in Australia? I feel like, is it late? I'm also not so great with time zones, but I'm trying. All right, so let's dive in and talk about memberships. Oh, we've got one more person here. Philadelphia, it's hot today. Yes, it's very warm here as well. All right, first of all, why start a membership site? You know, if you are a yoga teacher, why should you even consider starting a membership site, or what even is a membership site for a yoga teacher? Let's dig into that for a moment. So if we think about a membership site, one of the most common ones I can think about is Netflix, right? You pay, you know that you get access to movies and TV shows, and it just hits your credit card monthly, and you don't even really think about it. The same could be said for your gym membership, maybe. You sign up for the gym membership, it motivates you to go because you're paying, and sometimes it motivates you to go. And the same thing can be done for yoga. So I'm curious here, who here watching live or watching the replay has a membership site, and what really motivated you to do that? And I'll share my story, and it might help you gain some insight. So when I started Pelvic Health Professionals 2 years ago, I can't believe it's almost been 2 years. Well, it was 2 years when we launched it. We just did a really soft launch. And the big motivating factor behind that was I kept getting questions outside of the trainings I was offering. So I was offering yoga for pelvic health trainings, mostly in person. I did an online live one. And when people would message me back, they'd be like, oh, thank you so much for this training. And now here are my questions on top of it. I just thought, these are amazing questions. Some of them I knew the answer to and was emailing people back or sending them videos. And then some of them I thought, I don't know the answer to this. How amazing would it be if we could get a guest expert in to do that? So that was what started Pelvic Health Professionals. I wanted people to have a place where we had this ongoing and the most up-to-date information For yoga teachers, I think it only makes sense if you start to look at how a membership model is very similar to a registered session. So, who here is teaching registered sessions? Who here is teaching drop-in classes? Who here is teaching online? I'd love to know these things in the comments here. Okay, so one person is saying we do. People needed remote aerial yoga classes. Oh my gosh, I'm so curious to hear about this. I'm sorry, it just says Facebook user. So if it's showing up Facebook user, you can stick your name at the end of it here. I'm so curious to know, so you started an online aerial yoga membership, is that true? If so, pop the link to that here in the comments, because it's great if we can start to see the variation and the difference in memberships. There is a huge difference, and that's one of the questions that was submitted, like what kind of content do you need? So we'll talk about that in a moment. Okay, another person is saying, I have a yoga membership site. I created it to have a more consistent income. And since many of my students were regulars anyway, it made sense. I'm so glad that you brought this point up. This is one of the leading reasons to consider a membership site. I'm not saying that membership sites are for every yoga teacher, but if you've already seen the value of registered sessions and how once people commit and they pay, they show up and they actually get more benefits from that, that's the time to think about, all right, maybe this would work as a membership. I think also it might be very difficult if you're a brand new yoga teacher and you don't have any students yet, you don't have an email list yet, you're brand new to this. I think it would be much harder to build a membership site right from the start. I think it's going to be easier if you've been teaching for a while, you've gotten to know lots of different students, and they're ready to sign up and commit. They know, like, and trust you already. I'll tell you one piece of this with pelvic health professionals. When I decided to start it, I started it and I just said to people, here's my vision. I had talked to a few pelvic health professionals about it, and some friends who are really excited about pelvic health information and that learning. And I was like, I don't have it built yet. Who's in as like a beta? Let's try this out. Let's do this. I knew some of the components that I wanted to include in that, but I did not have it all planned out, which is the opposite of what I like to do. I really like to plan things out, but I will tell you that's one thing to really think on, is to be in conversation with your existing yoga students. Find out what they really would like, not what your vision is for them yet. Find out what they would really like in a quote unquote membership site. You don't even have to call it that, but like this ongoing thing for them. And then create it knowing that it is going to change and morph the whole time based on their questions, their needs. Let's say your yoga students are like, oh my gosh, we're all having trouble sleeping lately. And so can you add a piece in to help us to sleep? And you might think, oh, that's not in my area of expertise. I'm going to bring someone else in to talk about that. Or sure, yeah, I can pull in some more restorative practices and maybe we can do one that is there for you when you're ready to go to sleep, that type of thing. Okay, let's see what other people are saying. This is one of my favorite things about being live here, is that we can pull in your comments and your questions. So I do teaching online. I thought a membership would be a more efficient way for people to access more than one offer. So true. I'm so curious, for those of you who have a membership site, how long have you been doing this? And what are some of the things that you have learned as well? And if you're here and you have a membership site, please put your link in the comments here so that we can take a look at different ones. Okay, so I host through our management system. It's on MindBody. I'd love a better system. Okay, let's talk about, it's a bit early for us just to dive into membership site platforms. One thing that I will do is grab a link for you. Crunch did a an article compiled from our Connected Yoga Teacher group all about membership sites. Let me grab it here for you. Crunch is our resident writer, and it's called Hosting a Yoga Membership Site. And we did a podcast, Amanda McKinney and I. So shout out to Amanda because we started our membership sites at the same time. I think I can post a comment here. So this article summarizes all of the platforms that are available. Right now, I'm using Thinkific to host my membership site, but I'm really hoping that Offering Tree is going to build the features that I need because they're really listening right now to what yoga teachers want. So there are a few features that I've gotten used to in Thinkific where I'm like, oh gosh, I don't want to lose those features. And there are some features that it doesn't have. So I wouldn't get caught up in that right now. You know what? I have seen successful membership sites run on like Vimeo and a Google Doc. So I don't want you to get caught up on what platform to use. If you don't have a website, definitely check out Offering Tree. They enable yoga teachers to get a website up really quickly in like 10 minutes, literally. I did it. I tried it out. And also they enable that Zoom integration and that booking, and they're listening. They're really listening, and they're wanting to build a platform that works for membership sites. So be in conversation with them for sure. Mindbody, I don't know how it works in terms of a membership site for Mindbody. I just know that running different yoga studios, some had Mindbody. It's an amazing system if it's working for you, and it's really expensive. And I'm super frugal as a yoga teacher. So that's why I have found different systems in terms of membership sites and scheduling. Okay. Let me know if you have more questions about how Thinkific works, and I'll show you. I'm happy to do a tour of like what the back end of Thinkific looks like. It's very similar to Teachable. I've also used MemberVault as well. I've played around with that, and I'm looking at how we can move all of our live episodes over to the Offering Tree platform to try that out. Okay. Mikah says, I have an online membership and I do my in-person classes in 8-week sessions. I also teach privates in person. So Mikah, I'm so curious to hear what motivated you to start a membership. What have you learned along the way? Also, I don't know if you've already posted a link to your membership, but it'd be great if you do that. All right, one person saying, I'm excited to hear the replay. Don't worry, the replay will be here for you. It's also on our YouTube channel. Here is a question for all of you. Are you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Our YouTube channel has grown without us even trying. And I know it's, because the podcast goes out there, but also our lives go out there. And I have no idea what I'm doing on YouTube, and it's growing because we try and put great content on there. And that is one of the secrets for your membership site. What could you offer? Like, let's say Mikah's a great example because Mikah does one-on-one sessions. And in my experience, one-on-one sessions are like, it's like getting a massage. You get one-on-one attention. It's very hard to replicate that massage experience with a group of many. But a yoga class, as we know, it's very common to be going to a group yoga class. And how amazing is it if your teacher does the videos, they're up somewhere where you can access them at any time of day, anywhere around the world. All of a sudden, it changes the whole model of what you can offer your yoga students. So let's brainstorm on what is that content? Well, my guess is that yoga students really want videos or audio of you guiding them through some type of yoga practice, whether that's movement or breath or the philosophy of yoga, meditation. What are the things that you already share with your yoga students and you could package it all up so that it's organized and they can search around and find what they need. Let's think of some big membership sites that have yoga on them. So I'm thinking of Yoga Anytime. Shout out to the Yoga Anytime team. I actually did a podcast episode where I talked about what it was like to go and film for Yoga Anytime and what I learned. It was pretty scary, but I shared on there Yoga for Pelvic Health. And if anyone is wanting to sign up and try Yoga Anytime, use the coupon code CROW, CROW, and that will get you a free month on there so you can check it out. So that's like a big, that's a huge organization that's been doing this well before the pandemic, has been doing it for years. How could we take kind of that idea and make that really customized to our yoga students? All right, I feel like I need to dig into the comments and the questions here for a moment. So Mikah says, I have an online membership and I've been doing it since March, loving every minute. Feels great because it's something I can scale eventually. Okay, Mikah, I'm so glad you brought this up. That's the thing. You could scale it. You know how you go to teach a group class in person, and how many people do you think you can pay attention to? For me, it's like 12 to 15 was the maximum when I was teaching to a group class. When classes would start to get like 18, 20, I would feel like I can't really pay attention to all of these people in the way that I want to. A membership, once you organize things really well, you can actually get to a lot of questions and it's scalable. If you can't get to the question, you could start to bring other people in who can get to the questions in there for your members. Shout out to Sinead, who does a lot of our customer support. Sinead O'Connor, not the singer, our Sinead though, does a lot of customer support inside of our membership. So talking to members about, okay, my credit card expired. How do I renew that? Or I can't access the membership, or any other questions that are more customer support related. All right, oh, that's me. That's the link to the hosting a yoga membership site. If you go to the connectedyogateacher.com and you just search membership, it will come up with anything related to that. I use the search on our website. Okay, so here's someone saying, Liz, thank you so much for putting this in the comments. I use Offering Tree for my membership site. It's working well. Here's my link. So that's a great one to check out. Here's another person saying, I love Offering Tree. I have a membership with them, but it's pretty basic. You know what? That is the way to start a membership site. I'm so glad that you called this out. That's all it needs to be. One of the biggest complaints sometimes of people who are in a membership site is they will say, whoa, like this is just too much content. You're sharing so much with me, I can't even get through it all. I feel like I'm getting behind in it. No one likes that feeling of like not keeping up with their work. Or even when it's their yoga homework, right? So if you have thousands upon thousands of videos, I think it can be overwhelming for people. That's when it has to be really searchable, like, hey, I want a 15-minute practice focused on my shoulders or something, right? That's what Yoga Anytime has had to do because they have such a huge library of videos and teachers and topics. When you start really basic, you can say to your members, or you can sometimes look at the behind the scenes of which videos really are the most popular. Which ones are people saying they want more of this type of thing? You can also poll your members and just say like, how's it working out? Or check in with them or do a Q&A with them. Here's the other amazing thing about memberships, which I love. Every single month in Pelvic Health Professionals, we have a Q&A. So it's either hosted by me or we've started bringing in some guest experts for the Q&A, which is really fun. And it's just a time to be in community and connect. And where I am in Ontario right now, we're still in a lockdown. Please tell me about the places in the world that aren't. Tell me all the things that you're doing now that you're coming out of lockdown. I love to hear these stories. It's coming. I know it's coming. But it's nice to hear that it is. And And one of those aspects is community that I crave, I love in the membership sites that I'm a part of. And that's not something that you get on Netflix. How fun would it be if you could say, okay, we're all going to watch this show and then talk about it later. Okay. Okay, so Mikah said, I wrote a little bit above in a previous comment, but I've been wanting to move online for a while. I love that the membership business model allows you to scale, and it's a fun project. All the design and planning makes me really happy. Oh my gosh, I love this, Mikah. This brings up another point. Make the membership be something that your yoga students are asking for and they're excited about, but also something that you are excited about to offer. How can you focus on the things that you really love? Like my favorite piece of Pelvic Health Professionals is where I get to answer questions or ask questions. I like to answer questions too, but I thrive on asking questions. That's why I have a podcast. So when we get a pelvic health professional coming in, a guest speaker, a guest expert, I'm so excited to organize member questions, to think of some other questions that have been coming up, and then to ask our guest all the questions to try and get the most out of that hour that we have with them. So I love doing that. That's why I'm here with all of you today. I love doing just a good old Q&A. Okay, so Mikah, thank you so much for sharing your link. Kate is saying, I'm planning to offer a summer membership. Pay one price for the whole summer. It isn't built yet. You know what? That's how they start, Kate. They're not built yet. It starts as an idea. And I would say when it's an idea, that's when it's a great time to start talking to your students about it. Okay, so let me finish the rest of this. So I don't have to promote, just show up and teach, either self-care or self-compassion. I loved the registered series. Okay, a few notes here, Kate. And I feel like I'm going to give you some tough news, and it was some tough news for me as well. I know you just want to show up and teach because that's why you signed up to be a yoga teacher. I get that feeling. And there's also promotion with a membership. So I don't want to give any false hope to anyone that like you'll make this membership site and then it will just sell itself. So I'm at a spot right now with my membership where the doors are open all the time. Anyone can join Pelvic Health Professionals at any time. And when we first started it, it was kind of like an open and close, kind of more like a registered session would run, where it's like, okay, you have the next 4 to 6 weeks to sign up, and then the doors close, and we're just going to focus on the people who are in the membership. That would be where you can shut down the promotion. So you might try that model. It's like running a registered session. You plan for the promotion part, it's on your calendar, and you promote the heck out of that thing. You talk about it until you're so tired of talking about it, and everyone, like your neighbors, your friends, everyone around you knows about your membership. And then you can just focus in on however many weeks it is until it opens up again. The reason why I switched to doors open all the time is because we kept getting emails from people saying, oh, I saw it and it's not open. When is it going to open? And I felt like this is information that I want everyone to have. I want people to be able to access pelvic health information, whether they're a yoga teacher, a PT, or someone who's dealing with a pelvic health issue right now. I wanted them to be able to access that. So I also want to say this is one of the hardest things for me to do on a continuous basis then is the promotion of it. I know it's amazing. Our members tell us how amazing it is. I'm curious to know from all of you here in the comments, how many of you know about Pelvic Health Professionals, know that that's the membership that I host, and how many of you are hearing me talk about it. I had a friend reach out this week and say, Shannon, I don't hear you talking about it enough in your Facebook group. And so they're right. And they're saying it with complete compassion of like, don't forget to talk about your offering a lot in different ways. Don't forget to invite people. Okay. Do you do online memberships for different topics, themes separately, or do you do online memberships for all your content? This is a great question. You all know, if you've been listening to me for any amount of time, what am I going to say here? I'm going to say the secret to really being able to get more people to sign up is to specialize and niche down. Not forever, but I'm wondering how many of you here already have a niche offering that you're teaching for your yoga. Here's an example. Think of something that you crave to think of a problem that maybe you or your yoga students have, and what is the solution connected to yoga? So let's take the sleep one, right? The problem is someone's having trouble sleeping. The solution is, okay, this type of yoga helps downregulate the nervous system and prepare you for better sleep. It's just an example. I'm just throwing it out there. There's many out there. That is much easier to market than overall general yoga with like 15 styles of things that we offer. More so like a yoga studio would have that model. So I don't know if this answers your question. Do you do online memberships for different topics, themes separately, or do you do all your content? So I can give you the example of pelvic health professionals. That's a really big umbrella. We talk about everything from like pain science to pelvic organ prolapse to how can you grow your referrals. You know, there are so many topics inside of that alone. Like people say, oh, that's so niche down with just pelvic health. I feel like it's a really big offering. There's a lot of content to cover. Does that help? Ask me more questions about that if you have more questions. Kate says, I just started with ribbon. We've heard a lot of people using ribbon. And then in our Facebook group, we heard some rumblings of like there were some hidden fees. And then someone else said, no, they just contacted ribbon and they reversed that. So find the software companies that are listening to you. Can you get a hold of their customer service? Do you have to send an email and then wait for days? Are they listening to what changes you need and want? Okay, specifically pelvic health versus yin versus soma yoga. Do folks do these separately or in one area? This is a great question. And I would say, what are your students asking for? And what are you excited to teach? Does that help? Okay, so here's some good news about opening up. Kate says, we're opening up here in Brooklyn. Tell me about the things. I had a friend who told me that she went for a massage this week. Another friend is going to rent an Airbnb. Like, I want to hear the life is moving on stories. It gives me hope. Okay, Kate also says, I was going to promote for June as a July and August membership. All right. Kate, I'm so curious. Tell me more about your ideas for the membership and what questions do you have? Because I'm here to answer any questions that you have. Dr. Sandeep, hello. Nice to see that you're tuning in here from our YouTube channel. All right, here's a long one. It might hide the screen, but let's read it together. I haven't started a membership yet, but I've been contemplating doing so. I record and save all of my online Zoom classes, but the quality isn't great going through Zoom. I've thought about setting up another camera and recording, but I haven't yet. I'd just be super bummed to not use the class's content I've already created and recorded. Do you know if there's any way to save a Zoom class recording at a better quality with using just one camera? I've been using my iPhone, which is, oh, did it get cut off here? Let me answer the first part of this question. Start where you're at. You have the Zoom already set up. I'm guessing that you're sending that out to students and they're doing the videos, correct? I know many yoga teachers have set up their memberships with Zoom content. That's what students are used to. Oftentimes, we want to jump to the technology side of things. I find this in myself. I'm like, what's the software that will host this? What's the camera that I need to get to make this the best? And really, it's the content and it's the marketing that are the foundation of this. So the Zoom, there is a setting in Zoom where you can record to your computer and it's a little higher quality. I can find some resources on that, or you can just look at how you can save the best quality. I know this because my audio editor, Suzanne, shout out to Suzanne, helped me set up Zoom so that I was getting the best quality audio for the podcast. And, it's not, I don't know, it's maybe not the best quality for video, but it's okay. Like, it's fine. Right now I'm using my laptop, and lots of people talk to me about an external camera, and I have one. But it's just easy. You're all here. Are you bothered by the quality of the video right now? Probably not. You're here. So the sound is more important, I think, than the video. Now, it depends how subtle your yoga practice is, and you can work and improve that as you go, but I would say dig in and start somewhere. Okay. Kate saying, I know about pelvic health professionals. That's amazing, Kate. I'm so glad that my marketing message is working somewhere. Okay, someone else is saying, I just started niching now, still needs work. I took something I was already offering, a low back class, and started marketing myself as a yoga teacher for low back pain. This is amazing. I'm so excited to see this. A niche, a specialty is something that you just try on for a while and you see, is this a good fit? Is this a good fit for me? Are the people that I'm marketing to, is it a good fit for them? There are so many people who are dealing with low back pain. And I want to tell you that there's a whole bunch of research to say how connected this is to the pelvic floor. This is why see why I'm super excited to talk about pelvic health. I can draw the parallels to a lot of things that we're talking about. So this is great. Try this niche out. Talk about low back pain everywhere you're talking about things. Share on Instagram a pose for low back pain or something that's worked really well for you, and try that out. Okay. Micah's saying you can use QuickTime to film on your laptop while Zoom is going. That's what I do. That's an amazing tip, Mikah. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. This is great. I know other teachers set up different things to record, like from their phone or an iPad or something. There are tons of resources in the Connected Yoga Teacher group on this. And also, Crunch wrote another article about audio, video, equipment, all of that. Let me see if I can grab it really quick for you. What other questions do you all have? Who here would like a tour of what it looks like in behind the membership, of what it looks like for our students inside of Pelvic Health Professionals? And do you want to see what are the components that we put in there? Is that helpful for you? Okay, so we have an article here. I'll grab the link. Thank you for being patient, on audio, video, lighting. All right. Being more specific, I'm a yoga therapist and teach a Soma Yoga, Soma Yin, and specialize privately in pelvic health and chronic pain. I've taught a series for these. When I think of memberships, I wonder if it's best to let people pay for each topic separately, or just have a membership where there are classes for everything. It seems easiest to have it all in one section, but I wonder if this would be more confusing for people as you say niche down. Okay. Some thoughts on this. Niching down is really powerful. And I want to say that if you are like, I'm not sure which one I should focus on, you could try it out and offer all of those things. Before you do that, though, I would have a conversation with your yoga students, your existing students. You can say to them, hey, I'm working on this new offering. Here are the things that I'm thinking about putting into this. I'm curious. So you're saying Soma Yoga, Soma Yin, and pelvic health and chronic pain. Is there some way, can you tell me who benefits the most from this? Like, what is the problem that people are dealing with the most when you use all of this together? Because I'm thinking, is it mostly people who are dealing with persistent pain? I'm curious, because that might be the niche. It might be, yoga for persistent pain. When you talk about the problem that people are having in that, I know that we don't always like to talk about the problem. There's a great live that we did with Denite. Many people have told me it's been so helpful. I can try and link to it here in the comments, or you can go back on our YouTube channel and look for the one that we recently did with Denite on why it's important to talk about the problem as we're marketing our things. Okay. What other questions do you all have? Oh, here's another niche. My niche is longevity with an emphasis on foot health, digestive health, and pelvic health, all to help people live independently and happily. This is amazing. So is this the same? I'm sorry, it just tells me Facebook user. I'd love to use names. If you put your name at the end of your comment, I can also pop over to Facebook. Sometimes it slows my computer down, though. I also want to get to some questions that were shared in the comments, so I'm going to do that as well. Someone had asked, okay, let me get to these questions first. Alex had asked, are there different membership models that work especially well or better than others? Alex, overall, make your membership what students are asking for, what is really going to help them, and what do you love to share? That's the secret mix of a membership. Something that they are already asking for, needing, or maybe they don't even know that it would really help them so much, and something you love to put together and create. And there are so many models of memberships. You don't have to call it a membership. There's no outline for memberships. Like a membership could be that you sign up with your email, and every week someone sends you a list of groceries to buy and the recipes that it will make. That can be a membership all on its own. No videos, no audio, all of those things. Alex also asked, how many members does a membership need to be financially viable? Okay, this is great when you're looking at pricing. Start to play around with, all right, if my membership was at this price and so many people joined, here's what I would potentially generate. Start to play around with these numbers. When we started Pelvic Health Professionals, there was a beta launch and people could join for $120 a year. I'll tell you, now we're at $290, and this week my one main thing that I have to get done is to raise the price to $390 per year or $39 per month for pelvic health professionals. Sometimes it's hard to raise the price, but it is important as you grow your membership and you just get better at doing it. And as there's more content in there, it's definitely worth it. Like, for example, we have a training in there that is $47 all on its own. Someone could dive in, join the membership for a month for right now $29, take that training and have access to the entire library of other trainings, all of our calls. That's where a membership site really starts to be such a huge value as it grows over time. So I do not have answers on price, except pick a price that feels too low. Then pick a price that feels too high and see where in the middle. And also get some help with this. Get some help on pricing. We did a podcast episode on setting your price. And I think also, yes, there's an article about setting your price for online yoga. That might give you some tips, but there's no easy answer. Start somewhere. You can start with your beta group, give them a great deal, and then set it on your calendar to increase the price every 6 months to a year. I've been holding off on that. You all can hold me to it. Pia is saying, my Zoom videos are usually too long and I sit a lot in front of the camera and look at the students. Doesn't work that well inside my membership. Right now I'm doing 30-minute morning classes and they work. So what a great, this is such a great thing that you've realized, Pia, is that you teach looking at your students when you're teaching live. I'm so curious if you then take that audio and use it, or do you do a whole different class? You do 30 minutes, you do the practice, and then that's what you put in your membership. That's really fascinating. And this is a note for yoga teachers to learn from. Thank you, Pia, for sharing that. Okay, and then Pia asks, how do you get more engagement inside the membership? I wish I would hear back from my members. Okay, let's talk about this. How do we get more engagement? Anytime that we see, here's something that I really want to talk about memberships. This is something that not a lot of people talk about unless you're really looking at like someone who specializes in membership sites. They will tell you this right off the bat. Get ready for the churn. Get ready for people to leave. Think about, when you leave Netflix, a lot of people don't, because we really like watching TV, I guess. Okay, it's something that we really like and we really enjoy. The churn happens the most with the members who are not engaged. If we look and we see how many sign-ins someone had into our membership, and then how often they're in the Facebook group, the people who are less engaged leave the membership. So engagement is a big, important thing. I would say, what kind of emails go out? Do you have like a welcome sequence for those people? Do you maybe hop on a call? Like if you have a small membership group, could you hop on a call with a new member once a week or 4 new members a month and batch it all together to just say, hey, like, it's so great that you're in the membership. I mean, this doesn't work once you start really scaling your membership, but if you're starting with 10 people, how amazing is that for those people? It's not something you have to continue forever, but you can say to them, I'd love to really customize some classes for you. Tell me what you'd like. I'm wondering if you have Q&A times. I'm wondering if you have community time where people get together and visit. Like what would you like to stay engaged with a membership site? I have to be reminded sometimes. I'm part of a movement membership site. And I just saw an Instagram video that made me think, oh, I want to take that class. It looked like so much fun. People were laughing and jumping around. And so that might be it. It might be the reminder on social media as well. That's a great question, Pia. This is one that could be an entire podcast episode. So let's continue that conversation. I'd love to know from those of you who have a membership site, how do you keep people engaged in your membership? Kate saying, my niche is anxious parents of atypical kids, but the summer membership would be more generally for stressed people. My niche is new. It's like a test. Kate, thank you for saying that. You know what? Yesterday I was sitting there thinking, should my niche be people who are dealing with pelvic girdle pain? Because I really could talk about that endlessly. And I just put a podcast together and I was like so energized when I did it. So niche work and specializing is a constant thing. And you know what? The great thing is you can try it on. And first you can really focus on those parents of atypical kids. And then this summer you can say, you know what? I'm really going to focus in and talk to stressed people, which I'm sure anxious parents of atypical kids are stressed. So your message is in the same. It's not like you're, teaching people how to fix cars and teaching one of these yoga things. That would be confusing for your audience. Okay. Marcy, it's so great to see you here. Marcy is in Pelvic Health Professionals. And so I'm curious if you have thoughts as a member of Pelvic Health Professionals and anyone else who is here watching who is in Pelvic Health Professionals. Hearing the feedback from members is different than hearing my answers to these questions. Okay, so Marcy's saying, does anyone have a video membership and live classes membership? Does anyone blend these? So if you are a member of the video, you can also attend live classes or always do them separately. Marcy, I want to tell you that I'm part of a membership that has both live. So they'll send out a video saying, hey, we're live today. But also I know that the pre-recorded ones are there. I've never attended a live one. I've thought about it. I love getting the reminders. And so I would say, see what your yoga students are asking for. Do they like to show up live? And then do they like that library? For me, it's the best of both worlds as the student. Okay. Krista's saying, has anyone here used Patreon for a mini membership, a small amount of content at a small price to decide if more complete membership program is right for you? Krista, I want to say that I've been part of different Patreon memberships. And I find that when I pay like $3, I'm not very invested. It doesn't make sense, really. Like there's one that I'm part of that's really specific to pelvic health. So that's an area that I'd be interested in. The price is so low that I don't make use of the content enough. It's not enough of an incentive. Another Patreon I was a member of, and I actually paid like $20 or $30, quickly vanished. So I would say, like, what are the benefits of Patreon? It's not like they do the marketing for you. I feel like you can do this. I know you can do this. Krista, you are like an amazing tech person. So I'm curious, why are you wanting to go with Patreon for the mini membership? Tell me what feels like the benefit of that. All right. Pia says, I've recorded for my class series and put in Teachable for the people registered in the series. Access to for a week at a time. I record specifically for my members with my iPhone. So am I hearing this right, Pia, that they get access for that week to the live class? I know some people leave something up for a certain amount of time and then take it away as well in terms of their membership. I'm not sure if I'm reading that clearly. A lot of good suggestions. I've been missing the engagement. My members don't, but I'm trying now to add in more live with the morning class. I'll try more things. Okay, so this is a great awareness, Pia. You're missing the engagement, but your students are happy with the way things are. Is that what I'm hearing? That's an interesting point. Is it worth adding something in to fuel that for you, or is there some other way? Like, would you feel like, oh, I'm getting that community engagement if I get together with like a business mastermind group and we talk about how to get more engagement in our memberships? I'm curious. It's the answer is not always to add something new to your membership, and sometimes it's overwhelming to your people. But have you tried, like, what about like a summer gathering party for your members? Would they be interested in doing that, interested in going? Okay. Kate's planning to do both in her membership. So I'm guessing both the live and the pre-recorded. All right. Sarah is saying, Sarah Marie or Sarah? I have an on-demand library of recorded classes. This is included in the monthly membership where you have access to live classes. Okay, this is so great, Sarah, and I'm sure we can click on the link and check it out. Kate saying, Shannon, I missed what you said about my niche because my son needed me, but I'll go back and listen to the replay. Amazing. This is why I'm so glad that the replay is here, Kate. And let me know after you hear the replay if you have more questions. I am here for more questions. If you're here for the replay, you can still post them in the comments. Marcy again. I meant in-person, face-to-face in a studio membership for live, and they can be a member of online videos as well or have them separate. I'm thinking that maybe this would be an incentive for some. This is a great example, Marcy. It definitely doesn't have to be a Zoom live class. For sure, if that's like a registered session, right? You sign up for this registered session. And one of the bonuses is that I have this library for you over here, or you could do it separately. Join the registered session. Those people get on your email list. Oh, and by the way, if you'd rather do classes online or between our classes, if you want to find classes between when we're meeting once a week, like let's say you want to do yoga every day or a couple times a week, here's this online library. What you want to make sure is that those two offerings really complement each other, that you're not, it's like the yoga teacher, and I've done this, where people ask for a different class time. So you make two different offerings, and then you just end up spreading your students out in those two places. Kate saying Patreon takes a big percentage. I agree. I completely agree. Kate is working on this. All right, Kate, thanks for sharing your link. I know it can be scary to put it out there and say, I'm working on this thing. And we're all here with you. We all feel that. I felt it with my membership. I've had a hard time raising the price of my membership, especially with this year of COVID, even though I know that it's worth the value. I talk to my business friends about marketing ideas and what am I missing? What am I forgetting? A lot of the time it's just continue to talk about it. We are in this together. There's nobody with a membership site or with a yoga business who just has everything all figured out. We're all working on it the same as you. So do not feel alone in this. Keep asking the questions. Let's see if I answered. There were a couple more questions. Alex asked, what are the baseline components you feel members need to feel they are receiving value? This is such a good question. Let me show you the components in a moment of pelvic health professionals, but this was built around the feedback and the questions from our members. So I would first start asking them about it instead of creating the thing and then putting it out there in front of them. Co-create it. So have some of those conversations. Get in people's private messages, their DMs about asking them. Ideally, if I created this offering and you could access things online, what would you like to have? Some people might want the yoga flow all written out for them. Other people want the audio. Other people want the video. Find out what your people want the most. I know that Shala Veja asked a really good question in our Facebook group. Shala said, I'm such a newbie to the whole idea of memberships. Just how does it work and how much content should you have prior to starting it? And also, how does vacation work with memberships? That's why I really wanted to get to this question. All of this is what you create and what your audience wants. So the content, I'll show you what's inside of Pelvic Health Professionals, but I want you to customize this for you, what you like to create and what your students are asking for. And it will change as you go and depending on what they want and need. And how does vacation work? It works however you would like it to. So as an example, inside of Pelvic Health Professionals, we have one guest speaker come in once a month and one Q&A. And I'm there for both of those calls at this point. I'm fine with that. I can put those calls stretched out in such a way that I could take vacation in between those. And so I would say, if your students want time off or you want time off, you go ahead, you create it that way. Membership sites are easy to, I think, to like plan the content ahead, have it go out and take a little holiday. Think about when you want to be there live. If you decide, okay, I'm going to be there live 2 times a week, every single week, okay, then you have to look at holidays. Like, I think people should be looking at 2 days off a week and a chunk of holidays. Like, when can you take, at least 2 weeks off in a year for just, maybe it's not all together, but in my experience, the more time I take off, the more creativity kind of comes up. That's where my content comes from. That's how I can put more things out there. Some people say to me like, oh gosh, Shannon, you just create so much content. Well, I need time off to do that. And I also need the time to create it. Okay. I feel like there's some great things in the chat here. Krista saying, thanks, Shannon, for that perspective. Patreon is easy when you're not providing a lot of video. My hesitation to a membership is joining the never-ending hamster wheel of providing a lot of content. Okay. I would say build it for what you want. Like, if the Patreon is a smaller price and then you think that equals not a ton of content, try it out. But you have the technology skills, Krista, to put that together, like with whether it's with Offering Tree or a PayPal button or whatever. You have the skills to do this and not pay Patreon. That's my thought in that, because I know you. Marcy is saying, I love pelvic health professionals and how it's set up. There are quirky things sometimes that I find that I write to you about. Yes, thank you for that, Marcy. Still not through all the content, but hope to soon. It's so valuable to me that I can honestly can't imagine not being a member. Oh my gosh, Marcy, I want to use this as a testimonial. Thank you so much for saying that. And that's what you want your members to feel like. Oh, it's a no-brainer. Like, I'm getting so much value for what I'm paying. And that, to me, okay, let me tell you just what gets me really excited about memberships like pelvic health professionals. We pay our guest speakers $200 per hour to come and talk with our members. And I would love to increase that as we grow. The only reason we can do that is because we have enough members now who are paying. So we can pay for someone to be in there answering questions. Sinead's in there for our customer support. It pays for my time to show up and really create content and do things like work with Offering Tree to create a directory for our members. We're working on that next. Those types of things where you can really focus in and spend lots of time on it because you are growing it and people are paying on a monthly basis. So then, like, for example, our members could be paying $29 a month, but access a $200 per hour call on top of all of the other information in there, right? So it's like the co-op situation where everyone's growing vegetables and then you can divvy it all up when you all kind of go in and collaborate together. Does that make sense? Krista's also saying video content in the pool is more work, but people don't want to pay anything more for it. I'd love the income stability of a membership, but I'm hesitant about adding in more work. So Krista, I'm thinking, because Krista specializes in yoga in the pool, like, is this something that I could be a member like the aerial yoga and I could go and do this at my local pool, or can I do it in the lake? The local pool isn't open here in Ontario, but my lake is. Like, could I learn a little bit and then go and try it out? Because that's what you're going to need for a membership, I think, especially if you're thinking people all over the place. I'm trying to find the right way to make it work for me in addition to my clients. I know that you're going to figure this out if it's a good fit. So see if it feels like a good fit. It's not for everyone. Krista, I want to hear more about this. This person's saying, I'm thinking of doing a yoga challenge right before the summer to promote a summer membership. Sarah, this is so great. Make sure it ties in with your membership. Like, I think that's a great way to generate excitement is doing a challenge. That's amazing. Tell us how it goes. Update us. Pia saying, Krista, you can decide how often to add new stuff, and aren't you really always producing a lot of content like your book, articles, etc.? Pia, I'm so glad that you pointed this out about Krista. Krista is amazing at creating content. And so I bet, Krista, that you are already sitting on a ton of content. That's another time to really think about starting a membership. Okay, I keep promising that I'm going to show you behind the scenes of a membership site, and I haven't done that. Who here? Nobody said in the comments, hey, I want to see behind the scenes. I want to make sure that that's what we want to do. I'll share for a moment and you can let me know if you're like, no. Let's see. I want to make sure I share the screen. Let me see here. Also, I'm here for questions. All right. So if you go, okay, yes, please show us. I will then. If you go to Pelvic Health Professionals, you can see to a certain extent as well. And that's where you can see, you know what, everyone, like, I don't really technically have a sales page. I talked about that a couple weeks ago. Last week's, not this week's podcast, but the one before was about creating a sales page. I don't have this all figured out. I'm learning as I go. I made a website. It's working. There are definitely ways that I can improve it. Let me get this here for all of you. Oh my gosh, everything is open. 100 tabs open. So pelvichealthprofessionals.com. I just want to share one screen with you. I think it's going to share my whole screen, which is fine. Let's do the entire screen. All right, so let me know. I think it's frozen or something. I don't think it's working. Let's try that again. Can you see? Oh, that's that never ending. Let's stop that. Sorry, everyone. Let's do that again. All right. Technology. Share screen. I swear I've done this before. Okay. So here's what it looks like inside of Pelvic Health Professionals. Let me know if at any point as I share this, if you're like, I can't see the thing that you're talking about. All right. So I now created a members page. Like, I wanted members to be able to log in from here, to go right to our guest speakers. So I'm going to choose that because it's my favorite part of this. So everyone can see this. Anyone can see this, but our members can click on these and go and go straight to that talk. So we had a really great talk last month with Leslie Howard. We have one to add here with Megan Peterson from yesterday, but here's the one with Leslie Howard. So here's what it looks like for our members. And this is not what it used to look like from the beginning. At the beginning of our membership, it was really very basic. Yes, we had the video, but this is inside of inside of Thinkific. So we have the video here, and underneath that, we tell people like you can leave questions or say, your thoughts on the video. We have a discussion tab there. That's nice. And then Sinead does these very in-depth notes now. We didn't do it at the beginning. We've gone back and done all of them. So they all have timestamps. And so you can look and think, okay, I need to go back and look right around 19 minutes. What are your favorite yoga poses for relaxing the pelvic floor? So people can scroll forward in this video to 19 minutes and get to that question that we covered. This call was all specific to restorative yoga for the pelvic floor. So the way we set it up is we do 30 minutes of that's the main topic. And then we open it up to members to ask questions. And then sometimes questions come in between as well. So this is what our show notes look like. Something we started to add recently because we wanted to make it more accessible. One, we're adding in Zoom. We do all of our calls on Zoom. We added in the full transcript as well as subtitles to make it more accessible. And now we include in the full transcript PDF. So you can download that in case you'd rather search a document or read a document. And we have the audio in case you want to listen on the go. These are not things that we thought of before. It's just that members were saying, oh, I like to listen when I'm in the car. And I thought, oh gosh, I don't want you to be like logging into Thinkific. This way you can download it to your phone and have the audio there for you. What are some of the other things? Well, this will show you like we have a begin here. We have a training. We do our guest speakers. So we now have 24 videos of guest speakers. We have 23 Q&As. Our Q&As are like, people were really asking about hosting a pelvic health workshop. So that's where we started. We started with what members were asking about the most. People were asking, what are your favorite books, your props? What analogies do you use? So we started to talk about books and what pelvic models we use. So see how all of this came out of member questions. People were like, I want to host a workshop. What's a handout example? What about the waiver? What about, putting it together? And I actually want to revamp this now. I feel like I can make it more solid. Someone just told me the other day that they're really enjoying the movement and breath practices. And our members suggested maybe they can create some of this content. And that gets me really excited because it's all me. And I feel a bit awkward doing this video all on my own. I feel like our members could really add to this. We have some printable resources because people were asking for waivers and different things like that. Images, it wasn't as popular. We thought, let's try this. Let's do the core four or the pelvic organs in the pelvis. We haven't heard a lot from members about those. We tried an information page about chronic prostatitis that they could print off and give to people. It wasn't a big hit. Like some of these things we try, and then there were bonus things that we added in their master classes. People were asking about prenatal yoga. I already had something on that. And we do an affiliate program. I would highly suggest that you look at adding that in if people are already talking about your membership. So our members can share a link, get people to sign up with their link, and get paid for talking about it. I'm wondering if anyone has questions about that. Let's remove that and see if you have questions about, what we've learned in the membership. As you can see, the biggest thing that I can say over and over again is start really simple. We did not have all of that stuff. We had one call that we were going to do with members, and that call was all about asking them questions, welcoming them in, saying, what do you want the membership to be? And that's where we started. I mean, I had an idea. We had some guest speakers booked and lined up. And then we just started, and it's just grown and grown. Okay, so one person is saying, I have a brick and mortar studio with a full schedule and live classes. I have 2 tiers of membership, gold, unlimited, and teal, 4 classes a month. I used to offer class packs, 5, 10, and 20. I like the constant income, but I feel like I've lost some veteran clients. How do I get them back? Verbiage is not something I excel at. Okay, this is a great question. If you had existing students before, let me get rid of this thing. If you had existing students before, I would honestly hop into a conversation with them. Say, like, it might be an email going out to all of those people, but even more so, it'd be better if you said to them, hey, I just wanted to touch base. Do you have time for a quick chat? Or maybe you know them on Facebook or Instagram and you can send them a private message where you just say, I want to make sure that you know about my membership or my offering, whatever you call it. And I want to check in and see, like, are you interested in that? And some of the best information can come from when someone says, no, it's not a good fit at this time. You can say, would you mind like really telling me what would make it a better fit or why it's not a good fit? I would really appreciate your time because I'm just working at making this a better offering for everyone. I'm wondering if that helps. So the constant income is a thing. These, like our 5, 10, and 20 class passes at our studios are very similar to having a membership. And some studios have tried the membership model. So it's a great question. We talked to, who was it? I want to thank all of you who have been here for so long. I wanted to say that there's a podcast episode that we did with Amber De La Garza, where Amber was talking about the buckets of our business. And I'll never forget this analogy. And I think about it and I talk about it a lot, is when you turn on the marketing tap, it goes into these different buckets of your business. You know, people find out about your yoga class, and then eventually one of the buckets is that you're teaching. Another one is that you're doing your admin, you're doing your accounting work. This is what a business. But if you turn off and the marketing bucket doesn't fill, which we tend to do, we all kind of shy away from that promotion part of things. It really turns off the rest of our business. We just can't teach if we haven't invited students to attend. So I am telling myself as much as I'm telling you, continue to market, continue to talk about the thing. I slowed down on my marketing and we saw less people joining pelvic health professionals in that month. So it's a good reminder for all of us. Thank you, everyone. I feel like we've broken the record now with a live. We've gone live for over an hour and 13 minutes now. If you have more questions about memberships, let's continue this conversation. Here in the chat is a great place to put them, whether you're here live or for the replay. Also, as a bonus for all of you who have tuned in right to the end, joining pelvic health professionals, this is one thing that I would really set up in your membership. Thinking about a membership, what is your refund policy? So ours is that you can join for 30 days, check it out, whether you sign up for the year or the month, and get a full refund if you're not happy. I think it's important to know that. Also, the churn is going to happen. People are going to leave. Do not take it personally. And at the very start, before you even launch your membership, write your churn email. So our email is like, hey, thanks so much for reaching out and letting us know that you want to cancel your membership. We have a couple of questions for you. Like, is there anything that we can do to improve the membership? We're not trying to make these people stay, but we're trying to get feedback about, is there something they're upset about and leaving? And a lot of the time people just say, you know what, I've been really busy. I'm doing this other thing in my life. I plan to come back to it, or it's just not a good fit for me. And you want your membership to be a really good fit for people. It's not going to be for everyone. It's a very specific person who will fit your membership, and there's millions of people on the planet. So there's lots of people that will fill your membership. If you have questions about pelvic health professionals, I am happy to answer those questions. I have made it my goal to clear my calendar and have some conversations on Zoom or a phone chat, a good old-fashioned phone chat with people who want to know, is this membership a good fit for me? So one thing I'm doing in my membership is I'm trying to reach out to more of our members and more people who are interested and have those conversations with them, just so that we stay on top of what people really want and need. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. This was really fun. If you have other ideas for live podcasts where you just want to ask a lot of questions or hear from other people in the group, let me know. I would love to hear from you. Also, again, huge shout out to Offering Tree for making the live possible. If you are thinking about trying out Offering Tree, use our coupon code, offeringtree.com/Shannon will save you some money. And also be in conversation with them. If you're not sure if it will do all the things you need for your membership site, ask them. Eddie is in our Facebook group. I can tag Eddie as well in any question about Offering Tree, and he's great to hop in there and answer that. All right, thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.